Hello out there. My name is David Horton, and I'm proud to be one of the pastors at St. Luke's Methodist here in Houston. I serve Gethsemane, our campus in Southwest Houston. Thank you for joining me today for this little video devotional. If you're watching this in or around Houston, you know what kind of gorgeous weather we've been having. I said last week that it's just kind of hard to believe we're in the middle of this global crisis of biblical proportions when it's just so darn beautiful outside. My daughter was just running around on that grass a few minutes ago. Friends, I've been hearing this phrase a lot recently: new normal. New normal. What is our new normal going to look like? People are going back to work, trying to establish a new routine. Places and businesses are opening up. There's more traffic on the roads. What's the new normal going to be like? And how are we going to get there? Well, I've been thinking about this passage. It comes from Ezekiel. I would never, ever, ever have Ezekiel on the brain if we hadn't done a sermon series on Ezekiel a few years ago. So here's Ezekiel chapter 47. I'll just be reading a few verses from Ezekiel 47, and I want to lift up to you a few things. So here's chapter 47, verse 1. Then he brought me back to the entrance of the temple. There water was flowing from below the threshold of the temple toward the east, for the temple faced east. And the water was flowing down from below the south end of the threshold of the temple, south of the altar. Then he brought me out by way of the north gate, and led me around on the outside of the outer gate that faces toward the east, and the water was coming out on the south side. Verse 3. Going on eastward with the cord in his hand, the man measured 1,000 cubits, and then led me through the water, and it was ankle deep. Again he measured 1,000, and he led me through the water, and it was knee deep. Again he measured 1,000, and led me through the water, and it was up to the waist. Again he measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not cross, for the water had risen. It was deep enough to swim in, a river that could not be crossed. He said to me, "Mortal, have you seen this?" Then he led me back along the bank of the river. As I came back, I saw on the bank of the river a great many trees on the one side and on the other. He said to me, "This water flows toward the eastern region and goes down into the Arabah. And when it enters the sea of stagnant waters, the water will become fresh. Wherever the river goes, every living creature that swarms will live, and there will be very many fish. Once these waters reach there, it will become fresh. And, get this, everything will live where the river goes." Everything will live where the river goes. Jumping down to this little, to the end of verse 12. He's talking about the trees on either side of this river. Their fruit will be for food, and their leaves for healing. Ezekiel was in exile. He was in exile with his fellow exiles in the kingdom of Babylon. He and all of his family, friends, people he loved, had been carted off, hauled off into exile. Most of the Old Testament was written to, for, and by people just like us. People living in exile because of forces completely out of their control. He's saying this is not going to be forever. There will be an ending. There's hope. There's always hope. Ezekiel has 4 visions in this book, and this is his last one. He has this vision of this angel, and the angel shines like bronze. This angel has a cord in his hands. It's like a measuring tape, and he measures out to the nth degree the dimensions, the exact specifications of the new temple. The temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, but this is a vision of what the new temple will be like. The angel gives Ezekiel the blueprints. And after, actually this chapter's already gone, this vision's already gone on for 7 chapters. And once Ezekiel gets this visionary blueprint of the new temple, this angel gives him this vision of this little stream of water, of living water, that comes out of the Holy of Holies in the very core of the new temple. The Holy of Holies was said to be, it was said to be the dwelling place of God on earth. And this stream would trickle out of the Holy of Holies, bubbling out from, I guess, God's own presence. And it would become a river, and it would become this ginormous river that Ezekiel could not cross. And it would flow into the Dead Sea. It says the sea of stagnant water. The Dead Sea is dead because, well, it's too salty to sustain life. You can't fish there. There are no fish. Well, this river of life coming from God's own presence will allow you to fish in it. And it will allow this really terrible land. To this day, there's just really terrible, unfertile land around the Dead Sea. There will be vegetation there. It will allow people to actually plant trees and harvest there. So what does this mean for us? You may be watching this right now, and life could be really, really hard. It's been hard for me, juggling home and homeschooling, work, finances, paying the bills. It's been hard. Maybe you know someone who, maybe you've lost someone to COVID. Maybe you know somebody who's had it. Maybe you've lost your job because of all of this. I want you to know it won't be like this forever. We won't be in exile forever. And I want you to know that God has new life planned, intended. That's God's dream. In fact, that's what God is going to accomplish out of all of this. I want us all to catch the vision that Ezekiel caught. This river of life coming out of all of this and actually bringing new life out of death, bringing healing out of sickness. Wherever this river goes, there will be life. I hope you see that vision. That vision that Ezekiel saw so long ago. A river of new life coming out of all this. But here's the final thing I want to leave you with. It doesn't happen all at once, does it? I mean, I wish I could snap my fingers and we were all in this new normal together. We will have figured this all out. We will have figured out, just how much is the appropriate social distance. Exactly when am I supposed to be wearing a face mask? I wish I could snap my fingers and we could all have our jobs back and we could all have our people back. We could all be in this new normal and have it all figured out. But it doesn't happen that way. It didn't happen for Ezekiel that way either. The angel leads him step by step, phase by phase, down the riverfront. First, the river goes up to his ankles, then to his waist. Then to his knees, then to his waist. And then he can't cross the river. It's by phases. States are opening up around the country in phases. 25% occupancy, half occupancy. You can't open, but you can. Oh, it all happens in phases. But here's the hope, friends. Ezekiel doesn't walk down the riverfront alone. God's angel, God's messenger, is leading him. He's not alone. And in fact, he's not the one in charge. He's just following the one who knows the way. Listen, as a pastor who has to lead a congregation through all this, it's really comforting for me to know that I'm not in charge. I'm just following the one who knows the way. And so are you. So I invite you to walk down the riverfront with me. There is a river of life leading us out of all of this. It's leading to a place of healing, life, and joy. A new normal that is even better than the old normal. And all we have to do is follow the one who knows the way. God bless you as you travel with God phase by phase along the river of life.